Know your core competencies and focus on being great at them. Mark Cuban. Welcome to the Stitch for Success podcast. I'm your host, Monica Allen. I'm a wife, mom, daughter, entrepreneur, author, friend, and lifelong learner. I have a love and passion for all things small business. If you are a budding entrepreneur thinking about starting your own business, or if you've been running your own business for a few years, I want to help you. Every week, my goal is to bring you tips, thoughts, inspirations, and education to help you on your entrepreneurial journey. Thank you so much for joining me on the Stitch for Success podcast today. If you have not already, please follow me on Instagram at Stitch for Success. Each morning, I post an inspirational quote to get you through your day and get your day started. Starting and running a business can be tough, but I want to be here with you every step of the way. Also, if you're getting started or have any questions about topics we discuss on this podcast, please direct message me through Instagram or leave a voicemail by visiting stitchforsuccess.com. I cannot profess to having all the answers, but perhaps I can share my experience with a similar situation or point you in the right direction for some additional help. I am back with a new Business 101 lesson today. As a business owner, mistakes are inevitable. The key when a mistake is made is to determine what went wrong and figure out a solution so it doesn't happen again. So today I'm going to talk to you about one of the biggest and most costly mistakes I think we made since we started our business and what we learned from it. That mistake was neglecting our core competencies. Just in case you don't know what a core competency is, I will share with you the formal definition. A core competency is a defining capability or advantage that distinguishes an enterprise from its competitors. So keep that in mind as we talk about this in regards to a mistake that we made. When we started our business, there were a couple of things that we knew we wanted to do. We knew we wanted to create highly customized items, primarily garments. Initially, we started out only doing jackets, and that expanded due to customer requests. Our mantra was, you dream it, we design it. And we knew we did not want to carry a lot of inventory. I don't want to count it. I didn't want that on our books. So for a long time, we did not carry inventory. So our items were made to order. Our core competency was to create custom items based exactly on what the customer requested. So let me take you back to 2008. Imagine a hot summer in Atlanta. We had 6 team members. Cash flow is low because it's summer, and students just aren't purchasing many of the Greek items that they normally do during the school year. And we had gotten accustomed somewhat to the slowdown of summer, but regardless, the cash flow or lack thereof during the summer months was extremely frustrating and extremely stressful. So given this low cash flow and lack of work for team members, we decided that we would venture into participating in a national conference for one of our licensed vendors. We'd done this in the past, but it was on a much smaller scale. But we thought this would be a good opportunity for us to try it on a much bigger scale. It was their big anniversary celebration, and we thought, great, we're going to attend, and this is going to be the greatest thing since sliced bread. We decided to order lots of blank garments and embroider the items with various designs. These were things we thought would look good and sell well. We invested over $35,000 going into debt. But we were excited, just knowing that we would sell all of our products and profit about $35,000 with our 2 times multiple. Hindsight being 2020, this of course was not a realistic expectation. Would we really sell every item? Probably not. But we spent weeks getting all of these garments completed and packed up a U-Haul truck. And I can remember this almost like it was yesterday because it was so hot. And we had come up with this elaborate layout of how we would do our booth, which was probably one of the biggest hits at the conference. But I can remember packing up this U-Haul truck, and it was so hot carrying all of these items from our then home basement to pack up the U-Haul truck that we then drove hundreds of miles to get to the convention center, where we learned upon arrival that we could only utilize union workers to unload our items. So we had an additional unexpected expense of $1,000 because no one told us this beforehand. Then we walk into a huge convention center with hundreds of vendors. I'm talking rows of vendors back to back, most of whom are selling their apparel and accessories for little of nothing. The difference, though, is they purchased most of their items from overseas at a lower price point and could sell them for much cheaper. This was almost like a flea market type atmosphere. Our products were not flea market items. They were made here in the U.S. by team members making a living wage. When all was said and done, we did not even break even on this venture. So after 7 days of pushing to sell our products, running into customers who would say, "Oh my gosh, this is so expensive," it was extremely frustrating. And what lesson did we learn? We learned to stick with our core competency. Our core competency is delivering highly detailed custom items with no minimums for a specific customer that is telling us exactly what they want. The flea market-like environment was not our thing. Making generic items in large quantities was simply not our thing. When you make a costly mistake like this, it hurts. We sold our very last jacket that we made for this conference in 2016. This is after discounting it pretty deeply over time. But 8 years later, we sold our last item. We have not since gone to another conference. And when we're asked about vending at conventions or conference centers, we nicely explain that this is just not our business model. Our goal is to provide the highest quality custom products to our customers, and going to conferences currently does not allow for that. The silver lining from this adventure is that we did hold a raffle that allowed us to collect email addresses, and many of these customers are still on our email list today. So there was a silver lining in the process, but it was a hard lesson to learn, and it was a lesson that we paid for many years beyond 2008. Again, hindsight is always 20/20. Looking back, you can always figure out what mistake you made, what you could have done differently. But it was just an expensive lesson. And someone listening to this may say, "Oh my gosh, I would have never done that. I would never do that." But I guarantee you, with your enthusiasm, and a lot of times as entrepreneurs, we get a little bit carried away on the positive and don't necessarily see all the negatives. And you don't want to focus on the negative. That's not very fun. But you do have to be realistic with yourself and say, are we going to actually sell all of this? Should we be making all of this? Is this within our core competency? Is this what we're known for? Is this what we do? Are we venturing out? Now, does this mean you don't try anything new? No, it does not. It just means you do evaluate every new venture or product you consider through the core competency lens. For example, we've rolled out since then direct-to-garment print products. We have rolled out sublimated products. We've rolled out promotional products. The wonderful thing about all of these items, though, is that they allow us to customize them to fit the need of one customer. We're not guessing at what a customer would like. They are telling us exactly what they want and exactly how they want it. Now, are there some limitations to this thought process? Of course there is. And the primary thing is it's more difficult to scale. But we're giving that some thought, and we're trying to figure out how can we scale this beyond our current low seven-figure revenues. And we'll figure it out at some point. But we will still continue to focus on the value add that we give to our customer, that core competency that makes us different from our competition. We will continue to focus on that. What is your company's core competency? It is extremely important that you determine this and that you look at things within your business through that lens. You cannot run around chasing multiple ideas. You will be exhausted. You will not serve anyone well. As Mark Cuban stated in the quote I read at the top of the episode, know your core competencies and focus on being great at them. And it's okay to have more than one, but you shouldn't have a huge list of them. There's simply no way to focus on a lot of them. I would suggest you have 1 to 3 maybe. There's no way to make them all great if you have too many. So 1 to 3 is a great number, and if you can hone it down to 1, even better. You probably already know your company's core competency, but in case you need help determining yours, I want you to ask yourself 3 questions. 1, what does my company do really well that my customers and clients value? 2, how is it different from my competitors? And 3, what makes that difference difficult for my competition to imitate? So give that some thought, and that should help you come up with what your core competencies are for your company. I just have to take a minute to say that I was really excited about a message I received via Instagram about episode 15. This message was from @Ion Reliability Training. He sent me this really nice message that said, I forwarded the episode about the insurance lady to a friend of mine in Kentucky who is determined that she's going to make it big in the insurance industry. She said that the episode was so good that she just keeps playing it over and over. Guys, this made me so excited and happy because my goal is to help someone along this journey. I hope I can help you or a friend of yours as well. So please subscribe and share the podcast like Tony at Ion Reliable Training did. I would really appreciate it. And again, I just want to be here to help you in your entrepreneurial journey. Thanks so much for listening today. I truly appreciate you. If you have not yet determined your core competencies, please take a moment to do so. If you have, be sure to focus on those and always keep them in your line of sight when looking at new ventures or new projects. If you have any questions, comments, or thoughts, please direct message me via Instagram @StitchForSuccess. Please also follow me for your daily dose of inspiration and tips. Always a pleasure to have you listen in. Have a great one.